Well, I guess now that we've relaxed and eliminated our stress, had a good night's sleep, we need to talk about the thing we need to talk about AEW wrestling for Wednesday night, September 3rd, AEW Dynamite. The story this week is the ratings, and we're going to tell you what they are. But first, we got to tell you what contributed to them being that way. And Brian, okay, let me give you two scenarios. Think about this. If you're a farmer living out in the middle of nowhere on a country road, and you're sitting on your porch and you front poach, and you got your old hound dog by your side, and you're watching the birds fly around in the front yard, and all of a sudden you see a car coming down the road from the west coming from Pixley, and a car down from the east coming from Bug Tussle. And as they get right in front of your house, they just run right the fuck into each other. Boom! Right head on, and holy shit, and the airbags pop, and shit catches on fire, and here comes some police, and here comes a fire engine, here comes an ambulance. They carry people off to the hospital. There's scorched marks on the road in front of your house. You're going to remember that for a long time, aren't you? You're going to tell that story 20 years from now. You're going to be telling that story to your little grandbabies, and the people that know you are going to be sick of that fucking story. You're going to remember every detail, right?
More than likely, it's an extraordinary occurrence.
Exactly. Now let's say that you live in an apartment in the middle of the city at the intersection of two major roadways that have people constantly making illegal left turns. And about once or twice a week, there's somebody smashing into each other in the front of your house where you're looking out the window. And there's fire engines and there's police cars.
Yeah.
Huh?
Queens Boulevard. I've heard of this.
Queens Boulevard. There you go. And King's Crossing. And all of those royal places there. Well, you know, there's royalty in America too. And the police cars and the fire engine, they're there every day. You're always hearing sirens. So next week, you might not remember the details of everything that happened because you see it all the time. This is where we're at with AEW television, and this is what we've been talking about for years and years, in that sooner or later, the chickens, as they say, come home to roost when the only change in the shows and the way the shows are presented is that they do more shit now. Because they have to do more, because they've done so much that they have to do more to make it outstanding, to make it memorable, to make it, but they've already lost the cause and they've already shit the bed, because what can you do? In the past 2 weeks, they have hospitalized and put out of action Kenny Omega because he needs to be out of action, has procedures planned and things to do. And Swerve Strickland because he's got to get worked on. And Will Ospreay because he's got to get worked on. But even when people know they're already hurt, they still have to fucking hospitalize them. So now there is such chaos and carnage, people being run over, jumped off of shit. You're just watching an endless parade of a variation on the same theme, and it gets more and more, and it impacts you less and less because you've seen so much of it, until finally you're not even turning around when the cars run into each other. And this is the problem with why they have been, they haven't bled viewers, they have trickled viewers. But over a period of 5 years, when you look back at the first goddamn year, they were doing 800, 900,000, sometimes 1 million people. But then it's gradually descended over a period of time because people wear out. You get sick of it. You get tired of it. What more can they do? What more can I see? I can't keep track of this shit. It doesn't make any sense. All of my favorite wrestlers are either gone or always hurt. Or they botched the guy that they brought in that I wanted to like. And you can't blame Max Because Max didn't even, however many people are watching on Max, they had already lost 300,000 or more off of their weekly average before the Max thing started. What are those people doing? Watching fucking slides on a barn wall? And it's gotten worse over the last several weeks when concurrently with apparently when Tony said he's decided to take over everything again and follow his instincts, and his instincts are to put as many people as he can into every goddamn thing, and there's no restraint where there's multiple acts of mayhem happening on every show. And what else you gonna fucking do? And who gives a shit?
You know, I had a.
They would. I'll say this. Hold that thought. They'd get more attention on this television program if they arrested Chuck E. Cheese than if they hospitalized Kenny Omega. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Especially at the end of the show, a show that traditionally just hemorrhages viewers at the end of the show, yet they keep doing things at the end of the show. There's long-term damage. And unfortunately, there are people who are blind to any reality about AEW that isn't positive. The main one being Tony Khan. But it's also the people that Tony talks to, that he texts with, that aren't honest with him that he's not good at this. And if he was, it wouldn't be now 6 years in. They tried to make a big deal just recently. Everything's up. Everything, we're having a great year. Pay-per-view is up. Ratings are up year over year, which hasn't made sense to anyone. We do them every week on the show. We follow them. We can't even figure out what's up versus last year. But at the same time, there's been this feeling watching Dynamite like it's dying. And it's because there's no star power. And even if Ospreay and Swerve were healthy, no disrespect to them, because I think they're both stars. I think Swerve's matches are ridiculous, and I'm not really a fan of them. But they're both stars, but they're not major stars. So even if they were there, it wouldn't make a difference. There's no major stars. There's no stars. And they have so many goofs that don't look like they belong on this show. And if you tuned in 2 years ago and saw Wheeler Yuta, Daniel Garcia, they're still there. They're still there. It's the same B-level, C-level players they keep throwing out there. They have Don Callis with like every fucking heel on the show. Heels that matter, heels that don't. Heels that you don't see.
And that the heels that don't matter in the group make the heels that matter seem less matterful.
The commentators. We weren't a few minutes into this. I don't even remember the exact words, but it was something from Tony Schiavone along the lines of, "This is why AEW is great." Who is he saying this for? We're in the middle of the match, and then serious shit happens, and the three of them, and I'm sorry to incriminate Taz, but yeah, him too, start chuckling and laughing at like murder. Like all this shit that's happening around them, the serious stuff, the stuff that should be like, oh my God, someone's gonna die, that's what makes them laugh. I'm clapping my hands, I'm sorry, I'm getting fired up.
Yes.
You know, I mean, also we have to say you may be part of the blame. I mean, now that we know that they've switched Nielsen homes just recently, maybe it's one less wrestling fan or two less wrestling fans this go around than it was last time. But there's how many just random 8-man tag matches are there? Or 4-way matches with guys who aren't over. And they still want to pretend like the Young Bucks are stars. The Young Bucks don't mean a fucking thing to this show. And they wouldn't mean a goddamn thing to any other show right now. They don't have any stars. Omega's done again. They have to hide him in tag matches. He can't go. And you understand why. He wrestled as physical a style as every wrestler learned don't do if you want to have a career. So whatever you get from this point on is gravy. But they have no star power. The show just feels like a runaway train. And this week, you know, at least in the past when they had bad shit, and this has been, again, another bad show, they give you a heads up. Like a few days out, like, oh my God, look at what they fucking booked on Dynamite. This is going to be a shit show. They're not even doing that anymore. They don't even tell you what crap matches are coming up on this show before they happen. And they follow up on nothing. Everyone wanted to make a big deal of that pay-per-view. Meltzer said it was like amazing. Just these matches are amazing. No one came back Wednesday to see what happened. And then the next week, more of the audience died. The Wardlow follow-up died. Everything
I forgot
died.
about him.
Everything on this show, the Death Riders, literal death. Literal ratings death. Audience death. Interest death. And it's just a B-team crew there. And I'm getting mad about it because I've been saying just recently, Tony's got to fight back and Tony's got to give it back to WWE. That's what I would do if I was a fucking billionaire's son with an unlimited budget. But you know what? He's not the one. We have to hope some golden child will come along at some point.
Oh, good Lord.
And fix things with $1 billion or $1 trillion. But it ain't Tony. And he's never going to accept it. There's this embarrassing video of him running. I don't even know what it's from at the ECW arena on Dynamite or after it at the other taping, whatever they were taping. No one takes him serious. I'm sorry, I'm getting all fired up just because it's the state of Dynamite. It's not even about this week's episode. It's the state of all of this.
Here is what the problem is going to be. They have finally gotten to the point after expenditure of tens and hundreds, potentially of millions of dollars, where they're getting paid from the television network, the rights fees. The numbers are going in the wrong direction. And I asked this question when shortly after the rights fee deal was announced. Is there an out? Is there a bar they have to stay above? Certainly, if something happened, the XFL, there was just I saw a documentary the other day, the 30 for 30 they did. Their first game had 50 million viewers.
Yeah, that's right.
And within like fucking 6 weeks or whatever, they were the lowest rated primetime network program in history. If they get to a certain point, which they would appear to be reaching this past week, and they level out there, or even continue to go farther, is there a point where the network says, what the fuck are we doing here? Because Collision, just on Saturday night.
Oh, did you see those ratings?
Was like 190-something thousand people.
Yeah, I'll pull them up when we do Dynamite's ratings later. It's a week of just awfulness.
But that's the point, is their Wednesday night show and Saturday night show together did not equal the viewership that their Wednesday night show alone had 2 years ago. So Tony can't keep, and Tony, and as you said, people he talks or texts to, or people that have the same mindset, let's say, things going on in their minds, that they believe that a large number of people know who was in every faction in New Japan Wrestling 7 years ago. And if we run them all out there and either get them to fucking have a brawl or sometimes just stare at each other, people will buy tickets hand over fist. No.
That's just
go ahead.
It's a depressing state of affairs because it doesn't seem like anything's going to get better. They're not going to all of a sudden get access to top flight stars. There's nothing on the horizon that's going to change anything. And again, it's Tony at the top, booking now for 6 years straight. And he doesn't want to acknowledge the realities. And even if he did, who's he turning it over to? Bryan Danielson? Seriously, who? It's a sad state of affairs right now at AEW, and it doesn't appear like anything's going to get better. It's gotten a whole lot worse, and again, we don't know what Max... Maybe Max was 10 million people this week, but I don't think it was. I don't think it was a couple 100,000 people.